When you focus on yourself, everything changes. There comes a time in your life when you must stop chasing people, stop explaining yourself, stop seeking validation, and start focusing on the one person who truly matters you. When you shift your focus inward, everything begins to change. You stop begging for attention and you start attracting respect. You stop running after opportunities and you start walking in alignment with purpose. Because the truth is, the moment you invest in yourself, the world takes notice. You see, most people spend their lives distracted, scrolling, comparing, worrying about who's watching, who's winning, who's talking. But when you focus on yourself, you stop competing and start creating. You stop imitating and start innovating. You begin to move from noise to clarity, from confusion to conviction. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour into others from an empty cup. You can't build a future while you're busy fixing someone else's. Growth requires stillness, patience, and discipline. When you take that time to heal, to learn, to rise, your energy changes. And when your energy changes, your reality changes. The doors you once knocked on begin to open by themselves. The relationships that drained you start to fade away, and peace takes their place. You realize that you don't have to chase what's meant for you. You simply have to become ready for it. So today, make a decision. Withdraw your energy from everything that distracts you and invest it in everything that develops you. Read, pray, work, rest, repeat. Watch how the world responds when you become your own priority. Because when you focus on yourself, your vision sharpens, your faith deepens, and your power multiplies. And that's when everything around you begins to shift. Not because the world changed, but because you did. There is a dangerous lie that the world whispers into our ears. The lie that focusing on yourself makes you selfish, that if you set boundaries, protect your energy, and choose your peace, somehow you're being unkind or uncaring. But let me tell you the truth, self-focus is not selfishness. It's strength, it's wisdom, it's the foundation of every form of growth and peace you will ever experience. When you focus on yourself, you are not rejecting others. You are simply refusing to abandon yourself. You are saying, my well-being matters too. You are choosing to show up whole instead of half broken. You are understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. The people who accuse you of being selfish often benefit from your lack of boundaries. They have grown comfortable with your self-neglect. So when you finally start taking care of yourself, when you begin to say no, it feels to them like you've changed. But in reality, you've just woken up. Self-focus is the art of coming home to yourself. It means asking, what do I need to heal? What habits are draining me? What environments keep me small? It's not about arrogance, it's about awareness. It's about knowing that you cannot live a life of service, purpose, or love if you are constantly running on empty. You can't be a good partner, a good parent, a good friend, or a good leader if you've forgotten how to be good to yourself. Think about it. Every strong tree must have deep roots. The taller it wants to grow, the deeper it must dig. That's what self-focus does for your spirit. It grounds you. It gives you stability when life shakes you. It helps you stand tall even when the storm howls around you. You can't reach upward without being rooted inward. Self-focus is not about ignoring people. It's about understanding what you can and cannot control. You cannot heal others by destroying yourself. You cannot save everyone, and you are not meant to. The weight of the world is too heavy for one set of shoulders. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back, breathe, and work on your own alignment. Because when you heal, you inspire healing. When you rise, you become proof that rising is possible. The world will call you selfish when you stop over giving, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop allowing people to drain your energy. That's because they are used to a version of you that sacrificed too much. They are used to the version of you that said yes while you were breaking inside. Growth changes that. Self-focus teaches you that peace is more valuable than approval, that solitude is better than forced company. That love, real love, does not demand your self-destruction. There will be seasons when you have to disappear for a while. Not because you're hiding, because you're rebuilding. You'll have to step back from the noise, unplug from the chaos, and redirect your attention inward. That is not selfishness. That is sacred work. You're learning who you are without the world's expectations. You're realigning with your calling. You're renewing your strength. And when you come back, you'll come back clearer, calmer, and stronger. The most powerful people are not those who give everything away, but those who give from overflow. To reach that place, you must first fill yourself. You must sit with your thoughts, confront your pain, and nurture your growth. You must learn to rest, to breathe, to say, I need time, without guilt. You must honor your own humanity. People confuse humility with self-neglect. They think being humble means shrinking, dimming your light, never putting yourself first. But true humility is knowing your worth and refusing to lower it for the comfort of others. Standing firm in who you are without apology. It's loving yourself enough to demand better from life, from relationships, from yourself. When you focus on yourself, your energy begins to shift. You start attracting different experiences, different people, different opportunities. You stop settling for less because you've learned what you deserve. You stop chasing validation because you've built self-respect. You stop fearing solitude because you found peace in your own presence. That's not selfishness. That's maturity. The truth is, the world benefits when you take care of yourself. A healed person heals others. A peaceful soul brings peace wherever they go. A person who is clear on their purpose becomes a light in dark places. So if focusing on yourself makes you stronger, wiser, more loving, more peaceful, then why would that ever be selfish? It's the most generous thing you can do. There's the difference between being self-centered and being self-aware. Being self-centered means you only think of yourself. Being self-aware means you understand yourself. You recognize your triggers, your limits, your gifts, and your needs. You take responsibility for your own happiness instead of expecting others to create it for you. That's empowerment. That's maturity. That's growth. Don't let guilt manipulate you out of your healing. Some people will say, you've changed when you stop living for their comfort. Let them talk. Change is the point. You are not meant to stay in the same emotional space forever. You are meant to evolve, and evolution requires focus. Not on them, not on the past, but on yourself. You owe yourself the same love you give so freely to everyone else. You owe yourself rest. You owe yourself forgiveness. You owe yourself patience. You owe yourself consistency, because the better you treat yourself, the better your life becomes. You start to notice the small blessings again. You start to dream bigger. You start to walk taller. You stop apologizing for existing and start celebrating your growth. There's power in saying, I'm choosing me. There's healing in saying, I need space. There's wisdom in saying, I'm not available for that anymore. These are not words of selfishness. They are declarations of self-respect. You are not here to constantly exhaust yourself to prove your worth. You are here to live fully, to love deeply, to grow endlessly, to walk boldly in your truth. So don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself. Don't apologize for protecting your peace. Don't shrink for anyone who cannot handle your boundaries. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you stop loving others. It means you start loving them from a place of strength instead of sacrifice. Because when you are grounded, everyone connected to you benefits. When you are healed, your presence becomes medicine. When you are focused, your purpose becomes unstoppable. The most beautiful transformation happens when you realize that focusing on yourself is not pulling away from life. It's stepping into it fully, consciously, and powerfully. The world around you changes because you've changed within. So remind yourself every day self-focus is not selfishness. Self-respect. It's self-love. It's survival. It's the soil where every dream, every relationship, every success, every piece you desire begins to grow. Life moves in the direction of your focus. Whatever you give your attention to begins to grow. Whatever you neglect begins to fade. It's not magic. It's the law of energy, the law of focus, the truth of existence. Energy flows where attention goes. If your attention is on fear, fear will multiply. If your attention is on gratitude, blessings will expand. If your attention is on pain, the pain will deepen. If your attention is on healing, the wounds begin to close. Your attention is the steering wheel of your life. It determines the road you take, the people you meet, and the peace you experience. Every thought you entertain carries energy. Every emotion you hold shapes your reality. The problem is, most people don't even realize where their attention is going. They spend hours thinking about who hurt them, what went wrong, what they lost, what they don't have, and then they wonder why they feel stuck. They wonder why their life seems heavy, why joy feels so far away. But the truth is, it's not life that's holding them back. It's their focus. You become what you constantly think about. You live what you constantly feed. Tension is nourishment, and your mind is soil. Whatever you plant grows, whether it's weeds of worry or seeds of wisdom. The question isn't whether something will grow. The question is, what are you watering? If you keep replaying your past, you'll stay stuck in it. If you keep focusing on your pain, you'll keep attracting more of it. But if you shift your focus to purpose, to growth, to gratitude, everything starts to change. Your energy shifts, your mood shifts, your vision clears. You start to feel lighter, calmer, more in control. Because life suddenly got easier, but because you decided to stop giving your power to things that drain you. You see, energy doesn't just disappear, it follows direction. And you are the director. Wherever you point your attention, your energy follows like a river following gravity. If you point it toward negativity, that's where your current flows. But when you point it toward possibility, that's where life starts to bloom. Every great change begins with a change in focus. You can't build a new life while staring at the old one. You can't walk forward while looking backward. You can't receive new blessings while being fixated on old disappointments. You have to train your mind to focus on what you want to grow, not what you fear to lose. Some people say, I just can't stop thinking about my problems. But the truth is you can. You just haven't trained yourself to redirect your attention. Your mind is like a muscle. It gets stronger in whatever direction you use it most. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, that becomes your habit. But if you start focusing on what's right, on what's working, on what's possible, that becomes your power. Pay attention to your thoughts because they create your atmosphere. Pay attention to your conversations because they shape your emotions. Pay attention to your environment because it feeds your focus. You cannot live a peaceful life in a space that constantly drains you. You cannot grow in an environment that keeps your mind trapped in limitation. That's why focus is sacred. Because wherever it goes, your life follows. You must become intentional about where you place your mental energy. Every morning when you wake up, you are given a choice. Will you focus on what's missing or on what's possible? Will you focus on who left or on who stayed? Will you focus on what broke or on what's being built? Because whichever direction you choose, that's where your energy will go, and that's what will grow. Your attention is like sunlight. It can make anything grow, good or bad. That's why you have to guard it carefully. Don't give it to gossip. Don't waste it on comparison. Don't feed bitterness with your thoughts. Feed your faith. Feed your dreams. Feed your discipline. Because whatever you feed with your attention, you empower. If you focus on problems, you'll see more of them. If you focus on possibilities, you'll see solutions appear where none seem to exist. Energy moves in alignment with vision. The clearer your vision, the stronger your energy becomes. That's why people with purpose are powerful, because their attention isn't scattered. They know what they're building, and they know what doesn't deserve their energy. Life is not about controlling everything around you. It's about controlling what you give attention to. Things that distract you are often designed to drain you. The things that feed your soul are usually the ones that require your discipline. That's why focusing on yourself, your peace, and your purpose is not selfish, it's strategic. You can't afford to give your energy to every thought, every fear, every opinion. You must guard your focus like a treasure because it is one. There's a reason why peace feels powerful, because peace is focus. When you stop chasing chaos and start choosing calm, your life begins to align. You begin to see things differently. You begin to hear clarity in the silence. That's what happens when your energy stops leaking into things that don't serve you. You reclaim your power. The truth is, what you focus on determines not only how you feel, but who you become. If you focus on being the victim, you'll live as one. If you focus on being resilient, you'll rise as one. If you focus on hate, it will consume you. But if you focus on love, it will transform you. Life mirrors your mindset. The outer world reflects the inner world. That's why you can change everything without moving anything. Just by shifting your focus. Don't let temporary distractions pull you away from eternal goals. Don't let negativity rent space in your mind for free. You are the landlord of your energy. You decide who and what gets access to it. If something costs your peace, it's too expensive. If something drains your spirit, it doesn't deserve your attention. Start focusing on gratitude, and you'll begin to see how blessed you truly are. Start focusing on discipline. You'll discover how strong you can be. Start focusing on growth, and you'll notice opportunities that were always there but hidden by your distractions. The power is not in the circumstance, it's in your concentration. So today, I challenge you, be mindful of where your attention goes, because every thought is a seed, and every moment you water it with focus, it grows into something real. Choose wisely what you nurture. Choose what brings you peace, not pain. Choose what lifts you higher, not what keeps you small. When you learn to direct your focus, you learn to direct your life. You begin to notice that the energy you once wasted on worry now fuels your dreams. The time you once gave to doubt now builds your destiny, because energy flows where attention goes, and when your attention is on growth, greatness follows. What you focus on expands. If you focus on the light, you'll find it even in darkness. If you focus on the lesson, every struggle becomes a teacher. If you focus on the future, you'll outgrow the weight of your past. It doesn't come with noise. It doesn't come with warning. It comes quietly, slowly, consistently, pulling your attention away from what truly matters, one moment at a time. And before you know it, you're off your path, disconnected from your purpose, wondering why progress feels so far away. Distraction is the enemy of direction. It steals your focus, your energy, your clarity, and your peace. It keeps you busy, but not productive, active, but not advancing, moving, but not arriving. Distraction makes you mistake movement for momentum and noise for progress. Every destiny requires direction. You can't reach your future by walking in circles. You can't find clarity while living in chaos. You can't create meaning when your mind is constantly divided. And that's what distraction does. It divides your focus, drains your energy, and delays your growth. You see, distraction doesn't always look dangerous. It often looks harmless. It looks like entertainment, like comfort. Just one more scroll. It looks like gossip, overthinking, unnecessary comparison, and endless noise. But little by little, it takes your attention away from your assignment. It replaces purpose with passivity. It replaces clarity with confusion. It replaces time with regret. Distraction is powerful because it doesn't demand your rejection. It only needs your attention. Every minute you spend focusing on something that doesn't serve your future, you give away energy that could have built your destiny. We live in a world designed to distract. Notifications are constant, opinions are loud, comparisons are endless. Everyone wants your attention, but few things deserve it. The more divided your attention, the weaker your direction becomes. You can't chase every noise and expect to find peace. You can't keep looking sideways and expect to move forward. Will I stay distracted or will I stay directed? Because you can't do both. The person who wins is not the one who has the most talent, the one who can stay focused when the world tries to pull them off course. Your direction determines your destination, but distraction can destroy both. It's like trying to drive with your eyes off the road. No matter how strong your car is, you'll crash if you keep looking around. That's what happens in life. You start with clarity, with goals, with vision. But then you start comparing your journey to others, listening to too many voices, chasing validation instead of purpose, and suddenly you're lost. You were meant to move with intention, not impulsiveness. You were designed for purpose, not popularity. And the only way to protect that purpose is to silence the distractions that compete for your attention. Distraction doesn't always come from outside. Sometimes it comes from within. It's the overthinking that keeps you stuck. It's the doubt that whispers, "You're not enough." It's the fear that says, "What if you fail?" Those thoughts are distractions too. They are inner voices pulling you away from your true direction, your calling, your conviction, your path. When you let distraction win, you lose alignment. You start living reactively instead of intentionally. You start chasing things that don't belong to your purpose. You start working for applause instead of fulfillment. But the moment you silence distraction, direction returns, clarity returns. Peace returns. Focus is your greatest weapon in a world that profits from your distraction. Every scroll, every notification, every argument that doesn't matter, they are all designed to keep you away from what does matter. If the enemy can't destroy you, he will distract you, because distraction feels harmless, but it kills slowly. What is stealing your focus right now? What conversations, what habits, what environments are pulling your attention away from your growth? Every time you choose distraction, you delay your own elevation. Every time you give in to noise, you postpone your breakthrough. You can't hear your inner guidance in constant chaos. You can't find your vision while drowning in other people's opinions. You can't chase purpose and please everyone at the same time. Direction requires discipline. It requires silence. It requires the courage to say, "No, not today. I'm focused on something greater." There will always be something trying to distract you, a new trend, a new fear, a new doubt, a new voice telling you what you should be. You must remember who you are and where you're going. Every great destiny demands your full attention. You can't halfway pursue greatness. You can't casually find purpose. You must be intentional about your energy and deliberate with your time. The reason many people feel lost is not because they lack purpose, but because they lack focus. Purpose without focus leads to frustration. Dreams without direction lead to disappointment. You must choose what deserves your energy and protect it with everything you have. When you stop giving your attention to distractions, your energy multiplies. Suddenly, ideas flow again. Your confidence grows again. You feel connected to your vision again. The peace you were searching for begins to return, because peace always follows focus. Distraction makes you forget who you are. It makes you chase validation instead of values. It makes you live by reaction instead of conviction. But when you reclaim your direction, you reclaim your identity. You stop letting every noise shape your mood. You stop letting every opinion define your worth. You stop letting every delay destroy your faith. You begin to walk with clarity, and that's when everything changes. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right thing consistently. You don't need to chase every opportunity. You just need to align with the opportunities that match your purpose. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be fully present where you are. That's how you win against distraction. With focus, presence, and discipline, every time you say no to a distraction, you say yes to your destiny. Every time you choose stillness over chaos, you strengthen your direction. Every time you withdraw from noise and return to purpose, you realign your soul with progress, because success doesn't belong to the busiest. It belongs to the most focused. Peace doesn't belong to those who chase everything. It belongs to those who know what truly matters. Direction gives life meaning. Distraction takes that meaning away. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Guard your mind from noise. Guard your goals from confusion. Guard your energy from chaos. You can't move forward if you keep looking sideways. You can't build your future if you keep reliving your past. Remember, distraction is the enemy of direction. Don't let the noise steal your purpose. Don't let comparison rob your peace. Don't let temporary comfort destroy permanent progress. Fix your eyes on where you're going, not on what's trying to pull you away. Transformation does not begin in noise. It does not begin when the world is watching. It does not begin in applause, recognition, or validation. Your transformation starts in silence. Silence is where real change is born. It's where your spirit learns to breathe again. It's where your soul begins to rebuild the pieces that the world broke. Because before anything changes around you, something must first change within you, and that change always begins in the quiet. In silence, there are no distractions. There are no voices telling you what to do, who to be, or what to believe. There is only you, your truth, your fears, your dreams, your pain. And for most people, that silence feels uncomfortable because silence makes you face yourself. It makes you listen to the thoughts you've been avoiding, the emotions you've been suppressing, and the truth you've been hiding from. But that's where transformation lives, in the raw, honest space of stillness. The world teaches us to stay busy, to stay loud, to stay distracted. But healing requires stillness. Growth requires reflection. And clarity only comes when the noise fades away. There's a reason why the greatest breakthroughs happen when you step away from the crowd. When you stop chasing approval, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop needing to be seen and start learning to see yourself, that's when the real work begins. Because transformation doesn't need an audience, it needs intention. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is full of answers. It's full of direction, wisdom, and truth. When you stop talking, you start hearing. When you stop running, you start seeing. When you stop filling every space with noise, you start receiving the messages that were meant only for you. Most people want change, but they fear silence because silence exposes what needs to change. It shows you what's broken. It shows you what's fake. It shows you who's real. It reveals what you've been carrying that no longer serves you. And until you're willing to face that, transformation will always remain a wish instead of a reality. You see, the caterpillar doesn't transform in chaos, it transforms in stillness. Enters the cocoon hidden from the world, unseen, unnoticed, wrapped in silence. And in that sacred quiet space, everything begins to shift. The old form dissolves so the new one can emerge. That's the beauty of silence. It breaks you to build you. It strips away what you were so you can rise as what you're meant to be. Don't fear being alone. Don't fear the quiet seasons. Don't fear when people walk away or when life slows down. That's not a setback. That's sacred preparation. You're not being abandoned. You're being aligned. The silence is not rejection. It's refinement. It's where God, life, or the universe, whatever you believe in, does its deepest work in you. When life quiets down, that's when your foundation is rebuilt. That's when your character is strengthened. That's when your perspective shifts. The silence is not empty. It's full of the sound of transformation. You have to surrender to it. You have to stop fighting the quiet moments. You have to trust that growth sometimes requires isolation. There are seasons when the noise must fade, when the crowd must leave, when the attention must die, so that authenticity can live. You can't evolve when you're performing. You can't transform when you're distracted by opinions. You can't become new if you're still trying to impress the old. Silence teaches you discipline. It teaches you to wait, to listen, to trust timing. Teaches you that not every reaction deserves your energy, and not every noise deserves your answer. In silence, you learn patience, and patience is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. The quiet seasons are often misunderstood. People may think you've disappeared, that you've lost your spark, that you've gone backward. What they don't realize is that silence is not your absence. It's your evolution. You're not lost, you're being reshaped. You're not defeated, you're being defined. Transformation requires separation. You can't become new while staying surrounded by what broke the old you. You have to step back, step out, and step away. You have to unplug from the noise long enough to reconnect with your purpose. Because silence gives you access to wisdom that noise will never reveal. When you embrace silence, you begin to hear your intuition again. You begin to recognize what's real and what's temporary. You begin to see what truly matters. You realize that peace is not something you chase, it's something you cultivate. You begin to value presence over popularity and progress over perception. In silence, you'll cry, you'll heal, you'll grow, and you'll rise. You'll start to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Achem, you'll start to forgive yourself for all the ways you've settled, all the times you've ignored your truth, all the moments you gave your energy to things that didn't deserve it. And in that forgiveness, transformation begins. Don't rush your silence. Don't try to escape it. Sit in it, let it teach you, let it cleanse you, let it prepare you for what's next. Because when the silence is over, and care enough, look, you won't be the same. You'll speak differently, move differently, think differently. You'll stop explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. You'll stop chasing temporary validation. You'll walk with quiet confidence because you'll know exactly who you are and where you're going. People will notice the change. They won't know what happened. They won't see the nights you spent alone, the tears you cried in the dark, the thoughts you wrestled with in silence. They'll just see your transformation and they'll call it sudden. But you'll know the truth. It was born in stillness. Silence is sacred. It's not a pause, it's a process. It's not a void, it's a womb. It's where purpose matures and faith strengthens. It's where you stop depending on noise to feel alive and start finding life within yourself. You don't need to announce your healing. You don't need to broadcast your progress. You don't need to explain your transformation. The silence is enough. The work you do in quiet will speak louder than anything you could ever post or say. Because when you come out of the silence, you'll carry peace that can't be shaken and strength that can't be faked. So if you find yourself in a season of stillness, don't fight it, embrace it. That's where your breakthrough is being built. That's where your roots are deepening. That's where your power is forming. You don't need to rush out of it. You need to rise through it. You can speak all the right words, write all the right goals, and chase all the right dreams. Until you become the kind of person who aligns with those dreams, they will remain out of reach. Because the universe, life, energy, whatever you choose to call it, doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you are. Your energy introduces you before your words ever do. Your mindset shapes your experiences before your actions even unfold. What you carry within you silently builds the world around you. And if you want your outer world to change, you must first transform your inner one. You can't attract peace while living in chaos. You can't attract love while carrying hate. You can't attract abundance while walking in lack. The world mirrors your energy. Every person, every opportunity, every challenge that enters your life is responding to the vibration you're sending out. If you radiate doubt, you draw in confusion. If you radiate confidence, you draw in opportunity. If you radiate gratitude, you draw in grace. Too often, we look outside ourselves for answers. We say, only I had this, if only they loved me, if only they supported me. But true transformation begins the moment you stop waiting for life to change and start changing yourself. Because when you elevate internally, the world around you has no choice but to rise to meet you. Everything you attract into your life is a reflection of who you are at your core. That's why it's so important to heal, to grow, to align. If you keep attracting pain, ask yourself what part of you still resonates with it. If you keep attracting chaos, ask yourself what part of you is comfortable with disorder. If you keep attracting unavailable people, ask yourself if you're emotionally unavailable to yourself. That's not blame, that's awareness. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. When you become conscious of your patterns, you gain the power to change them. And when you change your patterns, you change your energy. When you change your energy, you change your life. The law of attraction isn't just about thoughts, it's about alignment. You can't just say you want something and then live in a way that contradicts it. You can't ask for peace and still entertain drama. You can't pray for growth and still cling to comfort. You can't seek light while refusing to leave the shadows. You attract what you are ready for. Life will not give you what you're not prepared to handle. That's why sometimes, instead of giving you what you want, life gives you lessons so you can grow into the person who can receive it. The delay isn't denial, it's development. The waiting isn't punishment, it's preparation. You are being shaped into alignment with what you've asked for. So stop chasing and start becoming. Stop begging life for blessings while living below your potential. Stop asking for loyalty while you betray yourself. Stop asking for love while you avoid healing. Stop asking for peace while you continue to live in patterns of chaos. You attract what you embody. If you want love, be love. If you want respect, carry self-respect. If you want abundance, live with gratitude. If you want opportunity, walk in faith. Your energy teaches people how to treat you. Your self-worth sets the standard for your relationships. Your habits set the tone for your destiny. Every decision you make is a message to the universe about what you believe you deserve, and life always responds in agreement. That's why inner work matters. The healing you avoid becomes the cycle you repeat. The fears you suppress become the limitations you live in. The energy you carry becomes the atmosphere you create. You can't fake energy. You can pretend to smile, but the world feels what's beneath it. You can wear success on the outside, but life responds to what's happening on the inside. If you want a new season, you must become a new person. You can't step into a new chapter with the same mindset that created the old one. Growth requires shedding limiting beliefs, toxic attachments, old identities, and outdated habits. Every version of you attracted a certain kind of life. If you want to attract something greater, you must evolve into someone greater. Sometimes transformation looks like loneliness. Sometimes it feels like loss. Because when your energy changes, your circle shifts. People who resonated with your old energy may not align with your new one. And that's okay. Don't chase what you've outgrown. Lower your vibration to fit old spaces. The people meant for you will meet you at your new frequency. You attract peace when you live in truth. You attract clarity when you stop forcing confusion. You attract blessings when you act with integrity. You attract success when you live with purpose. Everything that belongs to you is drawn to the energy of who you truly are, not who you pretend to be, not who you used to be, but who you are becoming. Where am I stuck inside? What belief am I still holding that no longer serves me? What emotion am I refusing to release? Because your outer world can only expand as far as your inner world allows it. Change your energy and you change your life. Start waking up with gratitude instead of complaint. Start speaking faith instead of fear. Start moving with confidence instead of hesitation. The energy you send out is the invitation you give to life, and life always RSVPs to the tone of your spirit. You attract opportunities when you walk in readiness. You attract love when you walk in wholeness. You attract peace when you walk in surrender. You attract abundance when you walk in faith. Everything that's meant for you is already aligned. It's just waiting for you to align with it. Stop thinking of attraction as something that happens to you. Think of it as something you create through who you are becoming. You are not a magnet for miracles until you learn to live like one, consistent, grateful, disciplined, and aligned. So today, stop asking, when will I get what I want? And start asking, when will I become who I'm meant to be? Because the moment you become it, you'll start attracting it naturally, effortlessly, powerfully. You don't have to chase what's aligned with your growth. You only have to become the version of yourself that attracts it. Because that's how energy works. It recognizes its match. And once you start living like the person you were destined to be, with peace in your heart, clarity in your mind, and purpose in your steps, the right people, the right opportunities, and the right moments will begin to find you. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must make a choice, not between right and wrong, not between success and failure, between who they've been and who they are becoming. That moment defines everything. It's the moment when you stop waiting for someone to save you, stop hoping for someone to understand you, and stop begging for the world to notice you. It's the moment you finally decide to choose yourself. You cannot transform your life while living for everyone else. You cannot grow when you keep shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. You cannot find peace while constantly seeking approval. The world will never give you permission to become who you were meant to be. That permission must come from within. Choosing yourself means realizing that you deserve to be whole, even if that means walking alone for a while. It means understanding that your worth isn't defined by your relationships, your achievements, your past mistakes. It's defined by your willingness to grow. For too long, many of us live on autopilot, pleasing, proving, performing. We give so much of ourselves to others that we forget who we are. We chase validation, hoping someone will finally tell us we're enough. But here's the truth. No one can complete you because you were never incomplete. You were simply disconnected from yourself. Choosing yourself is not arrogance. It's awakening. It's saying, I matter too. It's realizing that the same love you pour into others deserves to be poured back into you. It's understanding that your healing is not selfish, it's sacred. You can't build the life you deserve while living for the comfort of others. When you choose yourself, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop letting fear make decisions for you. You stop letting the opinions of others shape your destiny. You stop waiting for the right time and start creating it. You stop asking, who will be there for me? And start saying, I will be there for me. It doesn't mean you stop loving people. It means you stop abandoning yourself to love them. It means you no longer dim your light so someone else can shine brighter. It means you refuse to carry guilt for choosing peace over chaos. Change isn't born from comfort, it's born from courage. Choosing yourself requires courage. It's the courage to walk away from situations that drain your spirit. It's the courage to say no to things that don't serve your growth. It's the courage to let go of people who love the old version of you but cannot handle the evolved one. Because when you choose yourself, everything shifts. The things you once tolerated begin to bother you. The conversations you used to entertain lose their meaning. Spaces you once settled for start to feel too small. That's not arrogance, that's evolution. You're expanding, everything that's not aligned with your expansion begins to fall away. And yes, choosing yourself will be uncomfortable at first. You might lose people. You might disappoint others. You might walk through seasons of solitude, but solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the sacred silence where your next chapter begins to form. Because before you can truly connect with others, you must first reconnect with yourself. When you choose yourself, you give birth to authenticity. You stop performing. You stop pretending to be okay when you're breaking inside. You stop carrying the expectations of others like a burden. You begin to move with intention, not from obligation, but from alignment. You begin to understand that not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Your path was never meant to be understood by everyone. It was meant to be lived by you. The moment you choose yourself, you start to see life differently. You begin to notice the opportunities that were always around you, but your mind was too clouded to see. You begin to hear your own voice again, that quiet whisper of intuition that always knew what you were capable of. You begin to walk with a confidence that doesn't come from applause, but from peace. Choosing yourself means setting boundaries, not to keep people out, to protect your energy within. It means saying no without apology, resting without guilt, and prioritizing your mental and emotional health. It means showing up for yourself with the same loyalty you give to everyone else. You begin to realize that not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. Some people were lessons, not lifetimes. Some chapters were necessary endings, not failures. You begin to let go without bitterness, love without attachment, and forgive without losing yourself again. As you continue to choose yourself, something miraculous happens. You begin to attract differently. The right people start finding you. Opportunities align effortlessly. Peace replaces anxiety. Purpose replaces confusion. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Because when you are aligned with who you truly are, life begins to flow. The version of you that once settled for less no longer exists. The version of you that doubted their worth has been replaced by someone who knows their value. You stop begging for doors to open. You build your own. You stop asking for signs. You become one. That's the beauty of choosing yourself. It's not about isolation, it's about elevation. It's about coming home to your own heart. It's about trusting that you are enough, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. It takes strength to choose yourself in a world that profits off your self-doubt. It takes wisdom to walk away from noise and tune into your own voice. It takes faith to let go of what's familiar and step into the unknown. But on the other side of that fear is freedom. Freedom to be real, to be present. So today, stop waiting for the world to validate your worth. Stop waiting for others to see your potential. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The moment is now. Choose yourself, even if it scares you. Choose yourself, even if it means walking away. Choose yourself, even if no one claps for you. Choose yourself, because everything changes when you do. The day you choose yourself is the day you start becoming who you were always meant to be. It's the day your power returns. It's the day your healing begins. It's the day everything around you starts to shift. Not because the world changed, but because you did.